Richards trying to scoot in there alone. It pinballs to the crease. Score!
Let's get it.
Oh my God! Here we go.
You're listening to the Pod Street Blues Podcast with your hosts, Derek.
How you gonna get it, Bobby?
John. Matt Casey.
Unnecessary, but totally necessary.
And Hoagie.
What's not to love?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the much delayed return to Pod Street Prospects after like a 4-week hiatus. I'm John, and I'm here with my buddy Hoagie. What's going on, brother?
What's going on? I think it was more like 5 weeks, wasn't it? It's been a while.
I don't know. I mean, it was a lot of like, all right, Hoagie, let's do it. Nah, Hoagie, you can't do it.
It was let's do it. Oh, John can't do it.
September is a tough month for a teacher, man.
Yeah. Every Thursday, dude, I can't do it.
It was just, no. I mean, I would have needed to be on a respirator for the most part of dead tired. But anyway, we are here now, right? Hopefully we're going to be here weekly for the whole season. But you never know. We almost weren't here again tonight, thanks to my lovely children. But we do have some kind of big news to talk about. It's something that Flyers fans have been kind of going crazy about since the news dropped yesterday, but Philadelphia Flyers have decided to send Cam York to the Phantoms, down to the AHL. Everybody, I wouldn't say everybody, but a large portion of the Philadelphia Flyer fan base had Cam York as a lock. Everybody pictured him on the third pairing with Justin Braun. He's not going to be there to start the season. Right now, you're looking at Ronnie Attard and Igor Samula are still up with the big club in terms of young people in defense. Yep. The report is that they're likely going to be sent down too before the season starts. Obviously, we could talk about this through the lens of the Flyers, but that would be more of our main show. We kind of want to take the prospect route here and kind of talk and bring it into a bigger conversation of just playing the kids, especially when you know it's going to be a lost season. So I think, Hoagie, before we really dive into that, what was your initial reaction to Cam York being sent down?
To be honest, I have no expectations of anybody this season. So I just kind of said, oh, all right, let's develop him some more. Someone in the organization doesn't think he's ready for the NHL big minutes quite yet. So, right. I mean, I'm kind of happy, kind of sad because I was looking forward to him kind of being on the blue line. Kind of was hoping he'd be quarterbacking one of the power plays. But, I mean, I can't be too upset about it. I mean, we have these NHL players that, quote unquote, that can take it over.
If you read about what was going on during training camp and watch what was going on during preseason games, he just clearly wasn't ready.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it was Tuesday night's game, right?
Or last night? Was it last night? Tuesday night? I don't know.
I played men's league on Monday night men's leagues. They just they'd screw up my entire week.
So recently.
Yeah, I think it was like the Tuesday night game, and he just was making mistake after mistake, and it was just kind of like the final nail in the coffin. Like, all right, he's not ready. We're giving him that expanded role in preseason, and he can't handle it. So it's just a telltale sign.
Right, and I don't think anybody is denying the talent that he has. I mean, John Tortorella, even his comments continued to say, right, like we need him to be a certain player down the road, right? And it's about him becoming that particular player.
Right.
And if he's not ready for the NHL, it really doesn't matter if this team's going to stink. I mean, I do think that there is this mentality where it's like, okay, the Philadelphia Flyers are not going to be good this year. And the more and more news we get, it's like a reassurance that this year is essentially a wash.
Yeah.
John Tortorella talks like it's going to be a wash. So there's this mentality of, well, if it's going to be a wash, you might as well give these young players the opportunity.
See what we have.
But Hoagie, is there a time where that's detrimental to the player?
Absolutely. When you're just throwing them to the wolves, it's not fair whatsoever.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if we just look at Cam York, right? Okay, if we put him on the third pairing with Justin Braun and he drowns, that most likely has more long-term effects,
right,
than him being sent down to start the year.
Yeah, I agree. I think this should be good for his confidence, because he has this potential to be someone good, and playing in the AHL will just help him boost that confidence. And I think Tortorella kind of wants him to unlock that as well.
Right. There's essentially no rush, right? I mean, I almost would argue if you were in desperate need of like a skilled third pairing guy who you could be that second option on the power play, and that was the player that got you into the playoffs.
Right.
We're talking a completely different thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
York isn't that player yet.
Right. And we're already talking about a lost season. Look at what Edmonton did for all those years, where it was first overall pick after first overall pick after first overall pick, and they all went straight to the NHL.
Yep, and it was bust after bust after bust.
But it just wasn't bust though. It was just this culture of losing.
Rush. Yeah, it was the rush.
Buffalo was the same problem.
Yep.
I mean, do the Flyers wish that Cam York was ready? Obviously.
Absolutely.
But he's not, right?
No, absolutely not.
And I just think, in defense, when it's so obvious that you can be exposed.
Right. Yeah.
It just makes more sense for him to start the year in Lehigh Valley.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of just gives us a lens from the Flyers aspect of this kid. He's our defenseman of the future.
Right.
We don't want to break him down too early. We kind of want to build him up for next year or however long it'll take. I'm hoping middle of the season he's a regular and he stays. And I think Provorov even said we're not too worried. He'll be back.
Right.
They know who he is. We know what we have. There's no sense of wasting the talent in a wash type of year.
And sending down a highly talented prospect is not uncommon. I mean,
no, absolutely not.
Joel Farabee, right? They did that with him.
Farabee and Frost did in the same season.
Right. Claude Giroux, if I'm not mistaken, was sent down.
Do you want me to talk about him? Scott Lawton?
But so then, what do you need to see from Cam York in order in my mind, right? It's not what's going on with the Flyers, right? Tortorella made it clear it's what's going on with Cam York. So erase what's happening with the Flyers throughout the season. What do you need to see from Cam York in order to get him back with the big club?
Confidence handling the puck, confidence getting the puck up through the defensive zone, neutral zone, breaking out. He's just got to be confident in himself. He knows how to make the play. He just needs to make the play correctly.
Right.
So I think that's kind of where they just want him to hone in on what he does well and do it better than he ever has, and just continue to do it better. The hiccups, they can't happen. It's the NHL. Right. You have to execute a breakout perfectly, and that's been a snake bite of the Flyers over the past year and a half or 2 years. We can't make a clear breakout, and we need somebody that's just on the transition that puck. We have D'Angelo that's supposedly supposed to help us this year. Let York develop that a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, and I also get a sense from listening to John Tortorella. I almost said from talking to John Tortorella, which is just actually not true. But from listening to John Tortorella, that there's he's not a big fan of York's calm, laid back demeanor, where he wants a little bit more aggressiveness to him. And I don't think that means going out and laying a hit. But I think that
he wants him to show up.
Right. He's just kind of, he's got that California thing going on.
Right. He's just kind of meandering. I mean,
and it's
like
part of his personality.
Kevin Hayes-esque type of thing. Yeah.
Right. And I think that John Tortorella views that as a big problem.
Absolutely.
So, and I also look at it this way. You're looking at Cam York, who was the man with the US NTDP.
Yep.
He was the man for Team USA. He was the man for Michigan. At some point, all of these kids were the man. And it's a hard pill to swallow when you're not anymore.
When you're not, yeah.
And that's not any knock on Cam York's character. Like, that's a real thing. And I just think that that's something that he needs to work through.
No, absolutely. It's tough when you're the man and you're doing everything right with everybody when you're playing with the same age individuals.
Right.
When you're coming into the NHL at his age, he's what, 21, 22?
Something along those lines. Yeah, he's not very old.
You're playing men that are 10 years older than you sometimes. Right. Like, you need to show up and learn that you're not the guy anymore.
Right.
It's a team game. It's not an eye game.
Right. So I think when you're looking at the Flyers, right, I think that this idea where it was like, well, we might have 10 people under the age of, what was it, 25?
25, yep.
I ain't going to be nobody on the blue line. I don't think that Zamula or Adard is going to stick. I think they've got bigger holes in their game. I mean, Zamula is more of a size thing, but you and me have already talked about this. If he can't keep on the muscle now, like, what are we doing?
You know what? He put the muscle on. He lost in the first week of camp.
Right. Like, that's just him, unfortunately.
Right.
Ronnie Adard, I have preached till the cows come home that I don't think that guy is anywhere near NHL ready.
But he can fight, John. He'll stick up for himself and others. Like, come on.
Right. I mean, I would love it in a world where he becomes a legitimate right shot third pairing defenseman, and it's like he can go and just take Justin Braun's spot next year. I would love it. I just don't see it right now. So you're looking at NHL proven, NHL people.
NHL.
I don't know if Nick Seeler, we can say he's NHL proven.
Or Kevin Connaughton.
Right. So I want to shift to the forwards. And who are the young guys, the under 25 guys who are staying with the Flyers most likely?
One, if not both, Cates brothers.
Right.
And probably Lazinski.
Right.
The other forward is Hayden Hodgson. I just don't see him cracking that lineup.
And we're not viewing Morgan Frost. I mean, at that
I feel like he just has that role as a center. Like that, there's no argument there anymore. Like,
right, they don't have the luxury of demoting.
Right, exactly. Like he's just there now.
Right. So in my mind, right, when you look at the Cates brothers and Lashinsky, and I mean Allison at this point, I think is over 25, or is he 25? I don't know.
Even know.
Lashinsky might even be 25 years old for all I know.
I read Wade Allison's name and just went right over it. It's like, oh, he's not even a youngster anymore.
So if those are our kids, right?
Yep.
I view that differently than I guess I do view defense. Like, put them in there. Like, they're not 18-year-old kids anymore. Like, Noah Cates might be the youngest of them, and I don't think Morgan Frost might be the youngest.
He might. Lazinski's 25. Who else? Who are you saying?
Wade Allison.
Wade Allison. That's right. Let's see here. He's 24. He'll be 20. He'll be 25 next week.
So this idea of playing the kids, they're not kids anymore. We don't have the younger guys. But
I mean, we're calling them kids because they're not NHL proven.
Sure.
Right? I mean that's pretty much what it boils down to. We haven't seen them. And if we have, it's a small sample size. Right. They're kids to us practically.
Right. I mean, there comes a time when your age kind of pushes you out of the prospect world for me, and I mean 25 is really getting there in my mind.
Hey man, I'm 28. I'm still getting prospected. Come on.
But like, I think you can play minus Hayden Hodgson. Like, you can play all of these guys. I don't, I don't think that it is something that a team who's looking to go to the playoffs would hope to happen.
Right.
But I think you can fill out your bottom six with all of these young kids, plus the Delorier of the world, like,
yeah,
like those players. And I don't have as much of a problem.
Right. No, I agree. I think the Cates brothers, that they're fighting for a spot. They want it.
Well, Noah Cates has an NHL spot in my mind.
Right. Yeah. I just think both of them came to camp ready to prove it.
Right.
That one of those spots is theirs, and they wanted it. And I really appreciated that because they've been working their balls off night in, night out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I do think Jackson Cates on a normal NHL team is an AHL player.
Right.
But he's fighting for a job. Like, he is really, you can tell that he's putting everything he's got into it. So you might as well give it to him at this point. If you want to establish a culture, you might as well give it to the quote unquote kids.
Yeah.
who are busting the rear end, especially when you're seeing a lot of these younger guys fall to the wayside. Isaac Ratcliffe just proven he can't hang anymore.
Yep.
I think that some people, and maybe we can talk a little bit about him, but Tyson Forster, I think that some people were hoping that he would be another name that would stay.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Derek on the main pod, he thought he didn't say he was a lock.
Right.
He just was. He was his dark horse as a young kid to make the lineup. And
there's a theory.
There are a lot of people that thought he was a lock, apparently.
Well, when you go back to that mentality of lost season, let's see what we have in these young kids. He's another one that just makes a ton of sense.
Right.
But again, why?
He kind of falls into the York. There's no reason to do it. Because you're going to be where does he fit? He's going to be in the bottom six.
Right.
Why waste the talent when he could be kind of showcasing his talent in the AHL?
Right. I mean, and if you end up putting him up in the top six, you're setting him up for failure.
Yep, absolutely. He's just going to want to try to produce more than he's comfortable with.
Right. And again, if we were talking about a team that's maybe flirting with a playoff spot, we're probably not even having this conversation.
Right. Absolutely not.
I don't know. But both of them, I do think they are, once they have some time in the AHL, be it 10 games, 15 games, they're both going to see time this year.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm not worried about that at all.
No, I'm not either. One guy that stood out among fans, among everybody, was Ali Lixel.
Yeah.
I'm probably pronouncing it
I think it might be Lixel.
Lixel, something along the Swedish name.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on him? Because he kind of surprised me at camp.
I mean, I looked at it this way. I thought before more of the pros showed up, like the season guys showed up, I thought that he stood out. And then when the Kevin Hayeses of the world and all, a little bit more of them started to play in preseason games, I thought he started to kind of fizzle off a bit.
Disappear, even though he was on a top line with Hayes and
else. I didn't notice him as much, and I think do I think maybe the Flyers have something in him down the road? I mean, I think he gets a full AHL season unless it's like, well, wheels come off. I mean, let's be real.
Right.
But like the engine falls out. But maybe they do have something. But I think this is a case of like he became that guy where we got excited simply because he showed a little bit in some preseason.
Yeah, I mean, I was at the Bruins game on last Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's definitely a grinder. He's on the first line. He wasn't afraid to go to the corners. Wasn't afraid for the puck battles. He was doing well. And a lot of people were just, they just noticed him because he was somebody to be noticed. He was getting a lot of ice time.
Well, you also have to wonder too, like if we didn't have the Wade Allisons, the Cateses, the Lashinskis, who were going to be the kids filling those bottom six roles. I mean, Cates at this point might be in the top six for all we know. But now, maybe he does get a shot because he does kind of have that fourth to third line ceiling.
Right.
So maybe you stick him there because it's like, all right, your game your game is more comparable to the NHL style because this is the kind of player you are, right? We're not expecting you to go out there and score a bunch of goals.
Kind of like a Michael Raffle in a way.
Right.
He was just that tough guy and can kind of do whatever he damn well pleased in a way.
Right. You're reliable.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
But we have those guys, you know.
Right.
I mean, and they're really banking on like a Wade Allison to climb up the lineup.
To be healthy, yeah. Well, I mean, they also cut him as well. I just want to get your thoughts on him.
Yeah.
Because he made a name for himself in camp.
Hey, that's all you can do.
Right.
Because before this camp, he wasn't on anybody's radar.
Absolutely not. Well, was he a free agent?
No, he was a draft pick. I think.
Yeah,
he was a draft pick, and it was late. I'm pretty sure it might have even been 7th round.
168th overall. Sorry.
Yeah, not very high.
Yep.
But like I even watched a little bit when I had that Instat thing for free because I took it off this company that I was kind of working with. But that's neither here nor there. I was watching some clips of his, and you know he played well in I believe the SHL. It's just a lot of these players just have a ceiling.
Yep.
You know, they're not quite what we need.
We've beat that ceiling down at this point.
But hopefully he can continue this positivity in the AHL.
Yep. You want to touch on goaltenders or no?
Do I? I mean, if the themes play the kids at this one, you just got to play whoever is healthy.
Right.
Urson has looked good.
Urson has looked very well. I'm
very well. He's looked very well.
He's looked very well. He's done very well. Yep. I'm excited. I'm kind of excited for him because I feel like he's earned a spot.
Right. Over Sandstrom if Sandstrom's healthy.
Yes, if Sandstrom. Well, maybe not if he's healthy, but it's right there. I mean, I feel like Urson has kind of done a little bit better than Sandstrom.
Here's my thought about this, and maybe goalies typically you wait a little bit longer. You know what I mean? Like Carter Hart came up early, and in the beginning, it looked great.
Yep.
Since then, I would argue it hasn't looked so great. Now, whether or not that's his control or the team playing in front of him.
Or COVID or whatever.
Right, whatever. The acoustic guitar and the room by himself.
Casey's guitar.
But I think the best plan for Urson is let him, because he was hurt, let him play in the AHL. Let him be that starting guy in the AHL, and see what you have in Sandstrom. I mean, Sandstrom has paid his dues. Let him do his thing. See what he's got. So that way, when we can trade Carter Hart because he doesn't want to stay anymore, we can have Felix Sandstrom and Sam Urson in that.
Easy on there. As long as anybody but Grosnick, because I am not a fan of Grosnick.
And I don't think the Flyers have any plan of him being the backup.
Unless all goes wrong and the wheels fall off.
Well, yeah. But I don't even think they plan on him being the guy in the AHL. I think that if
it was just a guy to get.
Right. If Urson really does earn a backup goalie spot, right? Felix Sandstrom is going to take all the time in Lehigh Valley.
Oh, absolutely.
But I just think that you're already playing with a big enough uncertainty with Felix Sandstrom that just let Urson bake.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just the uncertainty of Hart right now because he didn't play in any preseason games. Yes, he's been practicing with the healthy group, but what are we gonna do if we're starting Sandstrom or Urson with the season?
It is weird if you think about it, right? Because it's okay, say whether Carter Hart goes out or not, right? You've got a young backup goalie, whether it's Felix Sandstrom or Sam Urson.
Yep. That
is play the kids.
100% play the kids. Let it roll.
And and maybe this can be our last conversation for this episode, but with goalie, right? We're talking about Cam York in defense and him floundering and how detrimental that could be. Isn't it more so with a goaltender?
We're screwed if we have to go that route.
I mean, if Sandstrom just gets lit up all the time, forget it. He's done. He's cooked.
Done.
Yeah.
Yep. It'll be killer for her because everybody's like, oh, we have a pretty good goalie depth chart now because Erson's been doing well in preseason. Sandstrom did good until he got hurt. I mean, Grosnick was Grosnick. That is what it is. It's kind of like, oh, we're back to all right. We have a pretty good goalie depth.
Yeah.
But if we're throwing him to the Wolves because Hart got hurt, we're screwed. There is no goalie depth.
Listen, about 2 years ago, maybe a year ago, I said that we had awesome goalie depth, that we should trade one of them. Now, Fedotov's in Siberia. Ustimenko was let go. Like,
Alex Lyon got traded.
There's no such thing as good goalie depth, I've realized. Like,
right.
It's such an unpredictable position.
Right.
That it's like, you're as good as your starter at this point.
Pretty much. It's scary.
Yeah.
Mainly because Carter Hart's kind of unknown. I wish he got some preseason game time. And he hasn't gotten a single minute. I mean,
I take this word loosely, but like I'm confident in Felix Sandstrom as a backup for what this team is gonna be.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
he's what, getting 30 starts at least?
Right. Is he gonna be a world beater? No. Are we gonna win most of the games he's in net? Guess what? We're probably not gonna win most of the games Carter Hart's in net.
Right.
So I'm fine with that. Let's see what he has it. And maybe he impresses us and he's like, okay, you know what? This is our backup goalie. Well, hey, hold on. Maybe this is our new starting goalie. Or, you never know. So just see what you have with this kid. And if he gets hurt, then fine. Bring in Erson because Gross Nose is not he's not on my list of goalies that I want to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. With the goaltenders, at least.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, Cam York, everybody was hoping that he was going to be on the big team. He's not. But
it's kind of his spot to lose in a way.
Right. I mean, we've been saying that about Morgan Frost for
17
years.
He just keeps getting a gift after a gift.
Hey, listen, there's this one beat writer in Philadelphia that thinks that Morgan Frost had an awesome preseason. So
he didn't look bad.
Right.
The game on Saturday, I was pretty impressed with some of the plays.
Sure.
The thing that doesn't impress me, he doesn't go into the corners.
Yeah.
He will not go past that red line.
Yeah. I'm just worried
frustrates me.
It's going to turn into the Nolan Patrick thing where it was like, did you see that pass that he made? That one pass?
You know what's funny is I kind of made that comment last Saturday. We were on the power play, and he made a diving effort to keep the puck in. I was like, wow, great effort. And I was like, shit.
Right, yeah.
That's the best thing he's doing all game.
Yeah.
I'm screwed.
Right, yeah. But, all right, dude. I mean, is there anything else that you want to add to this lovely conversation?
No, we got a week till Flyers hockey, believe it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and prospect stuff has started to kick up too. The college game is starting up. Europe has started.
We're back to regular hockey.
It's great.
Like regular hockey, no COVID crap stuff. Like this is awesome.
Right, Derek Bob. There will be no dad joke on a Pod 3 prospect show. No dad jokes. This is for the kids, Derek. All right. Well, Hoagie, where can you find us on Twitter, buddy?
Patrick Hoags for myself, Patrick Joe for John. And You know where to find the podcast, Pod Street Bullies, ST. It's not spelled out like Casey loves to do.
Bullies. Yeah. And you can find this show on all your various podcast listening receptacles. I don't need to list them. And shout out to all of our affiliates. They're growing. Hockey Focus, High and Wide, 5 Minute Major, Tony's Bagels. Anyone else?
Pod Muncher, I think, is still out there.
They're still out there. Yeah. They're silent partners now. All right. Well, that's it, everybody. Bye now.